Okay, can everyone see virtual engagement slide? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay, virtual engagement. Our agenda for this half hour is tips and resources that hopefully everyone can use. We'll talk about ways to interact, and I'll share a couple of possible 4-H activities at a distance. So this is some of the tips would be to have a designated leader when you're doing a virtual. So we're in virtual right now, right? So if you're in a 4-H club meeting or a junior leader meeting, then whether it be an adult advisor or the president or vice president, or maybe you have a tech crew and they are leading things, but have someone designated as the person who is kind of leading everything. Try to keep it less than an hour, because virtual, keeping everyone's attention for longer than that, it just starts to fade. Set some ground rules. So turn video on, turn video off, mute or don't mute, use the chat, and kind of guide that through the entire virtual setting. But if you set some ground rules in the beginning, and one ground rule that I have seen done a lot is questions. If the speaker or the president or the leader wants to answer questions throughout, to just say, go ahead and unmute and ask your questions throughout, or you might hold your questions until the end, right? So just setting those boundaries and ground rules in the beginning and those expectations, and that way if there is some inappropriate behavior throughout, then you've already set that, and you can address that if it comes about. So having the virtual meeting start 15 minutes early to have mingling is a good idea. A lot of times these days we're not seeing each other, so just getting on 15 minutes before to just say hello and just to see everyone and maybe catch up a little bit is really good for the soul, right? It's just like that networking that you might do in person. And then having question and answer time at the end. So resources, when it comes to tips and resources, I would like to share, I feel like this is a little bit of the mother lode of resources. The 4-H military website has a full page of, you just would not believe how much information included in videos and handouts, and you name it, they have a ton of information. Let me see if my link works here, and I will take you to it. So on this, let me include the link in the chat here. Oh gosh. Okay, I'll include it later in the chat. If I scroll down here, see setup settings to help prevent Zoom bombing. There's some tips like that. Safety, there's a little video on access and how not to share the link ahead of time, so that to public, only share it with those who should be in the meeting. There are all these videos about using games and tools and virtual, you name it. There is so much information on this 4-H military. And even if you only if you Googled 4-H military, they have an awesome site. So you may not come right to this resource page, but I will put it in the chat before this ends, so that you can go to that yourself. Virtual meeting tips, meeting flow, and ways to add interaction. There is so much information here. You will love it. I want to click on a resource that is right here. So this resources for taking your 4-H club online, these are some great websites and apps to use for, Jennifer earlier used Slido. It's similar, you know, a lot of things that you can go to your phone, like Quizlet and Kahoot are things that you can be on your phone and have those who are attending your meeting answer questions or do a survey or just have a fun little game. And so those are some really good links to check out. Ways to stay connected. So Zoom is one way to do virtual, but there are also Google Hangouts, there's Skype, there's Facebook Live. So there's a lot of resources in just this one handout. And I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Okay, so then there is something called Super Chat. So Super Chat is an activity that while you're in your meeting, you will ask a question, and we're going to do it now. We'll ask a question, and then everyone will put their answer in the chat, but they will not press send. So you're going to put it in the chat and wait for the leader to say go, okay? So the question we're going to answer now is, what is your favorite 4-H project? And I know it's going to be hard to choose just one, but name your favorite. So just put it in the chat. Don't do anything after that. All we're going to do is put it in the chat. And I'm going to count to 3. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, go, and everybody's going to push send or enter at the same time. So 3, 2, 1, send. Super Chat. So we've got all of these. So shooting sports, photography, forestry, dog training, sewing. We got another photography, soil and water, creative writing. So all of that. So if you had, you know, 100 people on chat at the same time in a meeting, then it's really gonna like really flow through there really fast. It's something fun just for fun, but it also in the amount of time that you have could be very valuable feedback in a really quick way. Okay, so that's called Super Chat. And so some signals for nonverbal cues. Instead of clapping, you may do the shake hands in the air. So you can do all of these different things and set this up. Like it might be one of those things that you set up in the beginning of the meeting, and it's, you know, depending on the age of the group, they can really get into that, right? So another way is to choose those emotions in the Zoom chat. So clapping hands, the clapping hands that you might choose. So also another one is raise your hand to be called on, so that not everyone is speaking at the same time. So making sure people raise their hand in front of the camera. So what does everybody think? You know, so what does everybody think about this idea? So they can either love it, they can think it's good, or they can say yes, or they can give it a thumbs down. And I know those are also on, you know, you can choose them as an emoji or create your reactions on the Zoom, but it's just as fun to actually do it too, right? So I wanted something. I was looking at games a couple of weeks ago, and I found categories online. So you can take that same piece of paper that we used earlier that Jennifer had us make. It kind of looked like a snowflake to me. You can use that piece of paper, or you can grab another piece of paper and a pen, please. If you're not on your phone, then you could also grab your notes in your phone or something. But we're going to do a quick game of categories. So the link, I will also provide this link in the chat before we end. So when we go to this link, it will give us the letter that we will use. And if you've never played categories, the idea of the game is that whenever I push whenever I push go or start or play here, it is going to provide 12 things that we will give a one-word answer to that starts with the letter E. Oh my, I think this is going to be a hard one. Maybe not, but it might be, right? So if you number your paper from 1 through 12, we will place categories virtually. So everybody ready for me to push play? It looks like we have 120 seconds. So let's go. So the first one is things you replace. A word that starts with an E. And I think if you do two words that both words start with an E, you get double points. I think that's right. So things you replace starts with an E. And if you have questions, you can unmute and ask your question. Car parts, names used in songs. Things that can kill you. Oh my gosh. I thought E was going to be hard. Is it hard?
We can't see number 12 though. At least I can't.
Number 12 is fruits. "25 seconds. "9 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 1. Time's up. Okay. So, how'd you do? Unmute, everybody. Unmute, and would anyone like to share what they had? Did anyone get all 12? Did anyone get all 12 of them? Let's hear from you if you did. Anybody get 10? No. E is hard. It's a hard one. We should have pushed play or next until we got an R or something. Who would like to tell us something? Malia says she has 7. Who would like to unmute and tell us a few of their answers? Did anyone get anything for things you replace with an E? What did you put for things you replace?
Eraser.
Eraser. That's awesome. Good one. How about car parts?
Engine.
Engine.
Did everybody get engine? I'm like, oh, good. I thought of one. Names used in songs. Anybody?
Ella?
L? Okay.
Eileen?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I said Elvira.
Ooh, good one. Elvira. All those country singers out there. Country music lovers. Okay, things that can kill you? Anybody? I don't know.
Errors can kill you.
Errors.
Say it.
Everything. Everything.
I put Ebola. It starts with E.
That's a good one.
I said elephant, but then I used it again on number 9.
I know. I thought elephant. That's funny. I had engine for 1 and 2. I don't know the rules that well in categories. If you have, I think you have to pick a different one. Okay. Anyway, so I'll put the link to categories in the chat so that you all can find that. And so over, if I can move. So over here on the side is restart. So every time it gives you another letter. So now we have I. Now we have O.
It's going through the vowels.
Yeah, evidently. There's another O. It must be random. What is going on? S. There's an
There you
S. Okay, so then I say start. And so games, items in this room, magazines. Ooh, these are good ones. Things in a park, product names. So that can be really fun. And it could be a one-on-one, just something that you share. Or it can be a group project. So I thought categories online was a really fun idea. So Jamboard is something that we can utilize if we have a Gmail account. So let me go to Jamboard, and I do have. So it is Google, so it's jamboard.google.com. And I will create a new Jamboard for those who have never done this. And sometimes I did several that I didn't lead. So you may have participated in one, but not started one yourself. So once you go to jamboard.google.com, down here in the right-hand bottom corner is a plus sign to start a new Jamboard. You will title the Jamboard up in the left top, and we are going to use this as, we are going to share, everybody is going to share on this Jamboard COVID memories is what I'm going to call this. So in this, I am going to share this link in the chat. And done, got it. Okay. Now, does everyone see it? So what happened there was I had shared something with Malia privately earlier, and then it was the last thing on there. So if you go to where it says to everyone and click the down arrow, then you can send a message just to a certain person privately. So if you had never done that before, that's something good to learn in Zoom.
So it's not shared with us, I don't think, Cheryl. It says access denied.
So the Jamboard, when you click on the link, it doesn't work. Is that what you mean?
It says access denied. So did you share it?
Access denied. Okay, I have to make it to where you can. So when it says share, change to anyone with the link. Is everybody seeing this?
Yep.
Viewer, editor. So I went over to the side and clicked editor. And now done.
Now we should be able to get it.
Now try it again and see if you can get on.
It's good now.
See, we're learning together. And this is actually another good point, another good tip. You're not always going to have it figured out. So sometimes you will do it on the fly, and it's good for everyone to learn at the same time, right? Okay, so here's what we want to do. If you will add, so over on the left is a sticky note. So you will click on the sticky note and it will give you a place to add a sticky note and save. So everyone, and it always ends up in the same place, so you'll have to move them over. Toilet paper is a great one. What else can we remember from COVID? These are our COVID memories. Good one. So yeah, play around. There's a pen version. You don't have to use the sticky note. 6 feet apart. Good one. Spending time with pets. Awesome. Making custom masks. Oh, great one. I bet that was a 4-H club project maybe. Fashionable masks. Never leaving the house. Oh no. Yeah. Hand sanitizer. Good one. Okay, so this is a really great tool to use for sharing of ideas and also brainstorming. Any type of strategizing or choosing, maybe a 4-H club is choosing where they're going to go on their, what activity they're going to do at their next meeting, or any type of fun activity that you want to try. And we can play around with setting backgrounds and frames. So this is something that most everyone can use. Jamboard. So Google Jamboard. Oh, you bought llamas during COVID. Awesome. See, there's great things that are coming out of it. This is great. Okay, now then you can save it. So the 3 dots, more actions up at the top here. We can rename it. We can download it as a PDF. We can save it, remove, make a copy. So this, my favorite is to download it as a PDF and to share it with others. So this is something that you can share and save it for next time. And then once, save file, choose where, and put it on the desktop is where I chose. So, all right, great job. This is really fun. Are there any questions about what we've shared in virtual, in anything virtual that we've shared now? You can unmute or you can open up and put in the chat. Does anyone have any tricks that they have really found that you liked that you did in a virtual meeting recently?
At school, they let us choose our own breakout rooms. So then we could be with like 2 people that we knew and like talk about our answers and stuff. So we could do that for like 4-H meetings too, to talk about like something that we just went over, like choosing your own breakout rooms.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, in Zoom, there are breakout rooms that you can choose how many people go in them. And it's just having a conversation one-on-one or with a smaller group, and then everybody, you know, a certain amount of time, and then everybody comes back to the big group. I think I spelled
that
it wrong.
version of categories would be fun to do even in person and hook it up to a TV or something, a bigger screen. It still sit at tables.
That's a really good point. Okay, I shared the 4-H military webpage and the categories game link in the chat. So we have really enjoyed having all of you with us tonight. Yeah. If there are no other questions, we have just a couple seconds for a question if anybody has any. And we'll stay on. We can stay on longer and answer any questions, but or work through any of the resources that I shared.
So I just want to note that I think it's Thursday night, and Becky might be able to clarify for me. I think Vermilion County Teens as Teachers is doing listening, and that was something I was going to hit on very briefly in mine because I knew they were going to do it later. So if you're interested in more communication skill information, Becky's Teens as Teachers is going to do that later in the week.
Yep. So we'll be back on the same link tomorrow, 7 to 8, and then same link Thursday, 7 to 8. So we hope everyone learned a couple of tidbits tonight and enjoyed yourself, as well as we hope to see you back tomorrow night and Thursday if you can. So thank you so much for joining us here. On behalf of Area 5 Purdue Extension educators, have a great rest of the evening.